There we go. Tied at 10, not anymore. This time, Ratified is down. Here in double OT. We'll go at it again inside. Tampa Bay Gators are going to crash hole 19.
Time is happening. In the title of the since 2000.
Welcome, CDL fans, to the February 26th edition of CDL Live, another game day filled with toy car demolition derby action all across the board. Another game day where no pro team has a bye. Right quick, like we always do, folks. Start off with these development league scores. Anaheim getting the win over Edmonton by a score of 15-5. Montreal with the win in OT over Cincinnati, 20-15 the final score there. Rochester defeats Mexico City 15-5. Syracuse beats Winnipeg 15-5. Kansas City serves Orlando donuts for dinner 15-0. Kansas City Indians 3-0, leading off fairly well this season. 15-5. Toronto gets the win over Little Rock. Richmond with the win over Memphis 15-10. Baltimore gets the win over Oklahoma City, and a shocker there to a point, a shocker. But 15-5 the final score. I think that's what was the shocking part. 10 points. 10-point spread there. Vancouver defeats Calgary in overtime, 20-15 the final. And the Utah Lakers with the win over the Alaska Bobcats, 15-5 final score there. The Oakland Smashers had the bye for the February 26th game day, but that's all of our minor leagues, our development league. And those are all those scores. But pro game day about to take place. A lot of interesting matchups about to be underway and whatnot. And I'll get right down to it here. New Orleans Gladiators coming into this game with a 2-0 record on the road against the 1-1 Gowanda Outlaws. Now the Outlaws, looking back to their last game day, got the 15-10 win over San Jose in controversial fashion, if anything. Teams having trouble with grip, so on and so forth. It's breaking in a new field, and the rubbery surface of the field, kind of rubbery surface, that would be the bottom of a rug, but that surface is sticking to a lot of these cars and preventing them from rolling. Keep in mind, these things are meant to stick to tile floors, so kind of within the realm of its design, doing what it's supposed to do. So Crisco has been enacted in use. Been working through how to change the rules for that and how to work the timeouts around that, because it's not so much only beneficial for the cars, but also to myself being the referee that's rolling the cars. So a lot of thinking going on, and a lot of even discussion going on with team owners and things like that that have happened, that are enacting some things, and things are being talked out as of now. So you probably know more throughout the videos as well. So that being said, though, Gladiators and Outlaws leading us off. We'll get to that in just a sec. Chicago 2-0 to start things off, and surprisingly, Alex Johnson's Puerto Rico Playas 0-2 starting off the season. Well, the two go head-to-head today. Puerto Rico just made it to the Crash Bowl back in 2014. They're off to a 0-2 start, looking for their first win of the season. The Wind Attack Chicago squad looking to go 3-0. And then in our main event, the San Francisco Shinobis haven't lost in regulation yet. Just got the one win that they're coming off of, and of course the season opener overtime loss against the Blades. San Francisco Shinobis on the road against the 2-0 Pittsburgh Destroyers. Should be some fun stuff here on this February 26th game day. So that being said, yes, let's get down the field, check out the action, and will there be any controversy? Gowanda Outlaws on the field first, home against the New Orleans Gladiators.
This is game time, and it's game time, and the madness fly. Show the strength that just can't be defied.
Welcome, CDL fans. It is time for a February 26th edition of CDL Live to begin. Got a pretty fun matchup to watch. At least I think it will be fun. Certainly an interesting game to see. Two teams that want to turn things around this season. We'll see if how they do against each other here. We got the New Orleans Gladiators on the road to take on the Gowanda Outlaws. Let's take a look at both teams, how they've gotten here. The New Orleans Gladiators won on opening day, and then they won on the next day too. Won 2 games in overtimes in their respect. The Gladiators have, so they are 2-0 coming into this game. As for the Outlaws, they lost the season opener. Now, coming off the win that they got over the San Jose Storm under some tricky conditions with the field conditions, but nonetheless a win. So, can they do it here on a little bit more level field? They kind of repositioned it a little bit, but nonetheless, we'll see how they do today. 1-1 Gowanda Outlaws, 2-0 New Orleans Gladiators, and a different looking Outlaws team, especially with Hammer and Sonic Boom in the lineup. That being said, let's just get a look at the lineups and get ready for the smash. And here we go. Elite will lead the way for the New Orleans Gladiators, and Lamborghini will be the car for Gowanda out there to meet them. So these two go at it. Known for defensive ability, and of course Lamborghini known for smash mouth offensive style. As they collide here, good matchup to start things off. Neither car giving an inch. Offensive opportunities coming from both sides, and now both cars looking solid defensively. Good spin maneuver there. Good swerve there by Elite a couple of times now. Another good swerve and spin. Lamborghini showing he's got some skills, and this time has a flip. So Elite couldn't come down on the ground where he might have been able to roll back up. Comes right on the top of the hood of Lamborghini, and Gowanda's up 5-0. That brings out Golden Rat now for the New Orleans Gladiators. And Golden Rat, like Lamborghini, he's a smash mouth car, and he gets the flip on Lamborghini. Score tied at 5. So now that brings out Hammer for the Outlaws. Hammer sure to be looking to make something happen, it would seem. Rolling a lot better today from the home side of the field, it looks like too. See and Golden Rat go at it, and now he'll have to go from the road side where he had trouble in the last game. This time no trouble there, but Hammer's still up. So they'll switch back to their own sides here, and they'll get ready to go at it again. Sides that they're rolling well from. I think both cars want the side that they're on, and Golden Rat has a flip on Hammer. 10-5 New Orleans in the lead, and that draws out Sonic Boom, lightweight defensive guy here. And Sonic Boom taken down right away by Golden Rat and the Gowanda Outlaws, despite all the moves they made. Getting Hammer and Sonic Boom on the squad just ain't finding a way to really get it done here today. 15-5 the final score of the New Orleans Gladiators, getting the win over the Gowanda Outlaws. And hey, the Gladiators, who would have seen them at 3-0 at the start of this season? Well, they are just that, folks. 3-0 for New Orleans. Gonna have some highlights across the league coming up, so stay tuned for that as we'll go through a whole slot of games. As a matter of fact, 9 games. We'll go through 9 games, some highlights, and then we'll be back with our next feature event, Chicago Wind Attack, on the road to take on the Puerto Rico Playas. Should be a fun one to watch there on CDL Live, so stay tuned.
You letting it keep going?
Nah, I'll stop it.
Want me to stop it quick for you? So you ain't
Yeah,
gonna get up?
stop it, buddy.
Well, just hit the button, right? The box.
Well, New Orleans with the 15-5 win over the Gowanda Outlaws to start off our February 26th game day. More action going to be coming up. Of course, next, Chicago Wind Attack, Puerto Rico Playas. They'll be going head-to-head. But first, some highlights, so let's get down to it. Alright, we start off our highlights with a pair of winless teams going at it, and this car was the one that stepped up for the St. Louis Twisters in their game against the Jacksonville Bangums. See this right quick, second collision here, getting the flip. You're going to see every collision from this game. This is how good Silver Indy was today. Another 2 collisions, 2 flips off of 4 collisions. That's simply spectacular. Black Spectite there, you saw him. Comes out, tries to bring it to an end, and in effect he does. Silver Indy does go down, but he went down himself. 15-5 the final score. Twisters getting the win over the Bangums. 2-0-1 night for Silver Indy. Nevada Thunder up against the Green Bay Dragons today. You saw them lined up there. And Shell, starting off the scoring pretty quick, takes down Yellow Spider, but White Indy, good defensive maneuver there, and then you see he takes down Shell right there. So that would bring out Rocket Oil from the Green Bay side. Of course, Rocket Oil, former Carolina Wildcat. But White Indy up against Toy Soldier. That set up this matchup. White Indy was 2-0, going for 3-0 up against the defensive Toy Soldier, and 3-0 denied. But Toy Soldier out there next against Hornet, and 2 flips is all it took. Toy Soldier to take down the Rookie of the Year. That brings out Grasshopper. Toy Soldier for the win. Grasshopper trying to force OT. And guess what? We are going to overtime, as Rick Generette would say. And in overtime, the Rookie Inquisitor out there trying to take down Grasshopper, but not meant to be. 20-15 in OT. It was the Thunder getting the win. And that leads us into the battle between the Indianapolis Reapers and the Carolina Wildcats. Dragon Jr. and Blue Indy started off the game. Nice little moves right there, but in the end, Blue Indy would prevail in that 1-5-0 in favor of the Reapers. So, next guy comes out, that's Mellow 51, and both him and Blue Indy goes down, setting up this matchup. Wen and Gold Z28 with the game on the line. 10-5 Reapers in the lead here. And look at this. Let's just check this out. We're going to see one heck of a look at this maneuver. We'll watch the rest in slow-mo between these two. I mean, just incredible defensive capabilities on both sides that leaves me searching for words. And that wasn't the only one. Look at this one. Somehow rolling the stay up was Gold Z28. And even this one at the very end, Gold Z28 getting the flip for the win, 15-5. Indianapolis Reapers getting the win over the Carolina Wildcats. And that game at the very end, they're just looking pretty with those two competitors out there. Gold Z28, what a beast. Okay, folks, this one was an instant classic. Seattle Lumberjacks, Milwaukee Mob, Hot Tub Jr. leading the way against this guy, Dark Dragon from the Seattle side. He's their rookie on that squad. And you see a good collision here. And some good defensive maneuvering by Dark Dragon, as I said. He's a guy to take a look at. Gets a flip right there. 5-0 Seattle in the lead. Next guy out there would be Monty Jr. And you see just the defensive capabilities of Dark Dragon right there. But Monty Jr. does have one advantage. His weight. And you get to see it at work right here. Heavyweights can take down defense. And it did on that occasion right there. Just missing out on the interference. But that brought out Buzzoff. He had trouble rolling. So we got grease on him. And talk about an improvement. Let's take a look. After the timeout. And bam. Just like that. We had a tie game. 10-10 the score. And then Cartman. He's a plastic highlight reel. As you see him here getting the flip on Monty Jr. And then following that up, Darkwing out there for the Seattle Lumberjacks. And takes down Darkwing. So all of a sudden, 15-10, the Mob in the lead. But it brings out Mantis for the Lumberjacks. And take a look out there if you're on the pit zone there. Interference definitely on that one. And another great defensive move on the part of Cartman here. How you wobble. Doesn't draw the interference, by the way. Didn't hit my knee or nothing like that. Able to stay up on his own, but in the end, it's to no avail. So, sets up Mantis for Seattle, Toyota for Milwaukee in overtime. Told you, this game was an instant classic. Tied in overtime at 15, and that's how it would end. Both Toyota and Mantis taking each other down. 15-15 the final score. The Mob and the Lumberjacks end their game in a tie. And the next matchup, Houston Oilers, New Jersey Bandits, white Ferrari there. Came out, guns blazing here, as you see him on the very first collision getting the flip. And then getting the tie right there. So we finished day 1 0-1, so Houston, 10-5 lead. That brought out, you saw his pitcher, Power Pistons, the #1 overall pick of the 2016 draft. And you see him battling out here. Great defensive technique, and even jarred Nickel and Diamond's wheels loose. A timeout was taken. So coming back from the timeout, Nickel and Diamond putting up a good fight. No doubt about it. In that time, Nickel and Diamond down. But let's get a look in slow motion here at the interference that stopped that from being a flip. And just right, can we zoom it in? Can we zoom it in? Just, there we go. Oh, he's just making contact there. But what do you do when you're a good player? You learn from rookie mistakes. Might be great, but he's a rookie. But after a couple more times, decided to keep teams on opposite sides and, well, cars on opposite sides. And look at that. Learn from his mistakes. That brought out Racer X. Lightweight defensive car from the Houston side, and an interference right there to save himself. Racer X, good veteran, making a good play, and not going to happen again though. Power Pistons getting him in the middle of the field. 15-10 Bandits in the lead, and good night, Sally. 15-10 would be the final, and the #1 overall pick of the draft goes 3-0 on this game day. Power Pistons getting the job done. Nashville Nighthawks, Miami Mafia, and we get a look at this guy, Orange Chevelle. He had an impressive day, 1-0-1 day, but you see here against Monkey getting the flip there, giving Nashville the 5-0 lead. And look at this battle that he has with Neon. Some great defensive maneuvers, do a barrel roll right there, and just very impressive stuff by Orange Chevelle. He ends up tying Neon, so the score all of a sudden 10-5, but then some problems arise as a timeout is called here. So no fear from the Nashville Nighthawks, having a hard time rolling, so we get some grease on them. Still not working at 100% as you see the cars go at it, both of them staying up as he takes on the rookie Aqua Chevelle. Of course, game on the line, but still having a very hard time rolling, more or less me having a hard time getting a good grip on him. 2 rolls, you see me trying to line him up and trying to get that good release. So finally, I am able to do it, and the result is a good flip in favor of No Fear, and that ends the game. 15-5, Nighthawks get the victory against the Miami Mafia. This is the next one we get to. Portland Panthers, Cleveland Wolves, and Bully Goat. He is the card to look at in this game. Let's see how he does here. Out there against Purple Fire, it was only a couple of collisions in, and night-night. 5-0. Make it 10-0 just like that as he takes down Monty. So, Portland down to their captain spot, and guess what? Who going down there, as did Bully Goat, but a tie collision which seals the deal. 15-5 the final score. The Cleveland Wolves getting the win over the Portland Panthers. And this car, Bully Goat, 2-0-1 here on this game day, single-handedly getting this team the win. Now we get to the Idaho Cowboys and Washington Patriots, and the first matchup ends up in a draw there. As you saw, Landlord and MX Dragster go down, bringing out the rookie from the Idaho side, RDO2. His game today, impressive. Look at that defense right there in slow-mo. And then right after that, able to come up and get the flip. 10-5 Idaho in the lead. So bring out Ratitude from the Washington side and set him right back down. 15-5, a 2-0 day for the rookie RDO2. And getting Idaho the win over the Washington Patriots. 15-5 the final. An impressive day for the rookie. And now we go to the Minnesota Maniacs and the Tampa Bay Gators, and look out for Green 7, a dominant performance today. Takes a couple of collisions with Phantom and is able to take him down. It's 5-0. So bring out the current defending MVP, 47 Ronin, and he ties with him. So points set, and here comes Red Racer for the match. Has to take on the car with the brain. Battle, but after just a couple of collisions, Battle looking a little brain dead today. Red Racer finishing off the job, 15-5 the final score, and the Minnesota Maniacs get the win over the Eastern Conference champs, the Tampa Bay Gators. Alright folks, there's your highlights, and now the matchup. We got a team going for their 3rd straight win to open the season, the 2-0 Chicago Wind Attack on the road against the winless Puerto Rico Playas. A team that's 0-2, but I gotta say, they might be the best 0-2 team in the league, considering just 2 years ago, same exact squad was playing in the Crash Bowl. So we'll see if they can get their season turned around right now.
This is game time and it's game time and the madness fly. Show the strength that just can't be defined.
Welcome back to CDL Live, folks. Our next game on tap for you here. The 2-0 Chicago Wind Attack, coming off that big home win, that 15-10 win against Detroit. They'll be taking on the 0-2 Puerto Rico Playas. The Playas, a surprising 0-2 coming off that loss on the road against Phoenix. Here today looking to get their first win of the season, if I remember right.
Players trying to play my homies, huh?
Matter of fact, this is the Playas home opener right here.
Right.
So, two surprising 0-2 teams. The homies and the Playas, both looking for a win. The Playas playing now, and of course this is featured for you folks, but the next game will be up for the highlights, and of course Tim will be here to see it live. His homies taking on the Phoenix Firebirds. Tim versus Matt Geyser. Fun stuff in the CDL. So, but makes it interesting. But can we see if Jim Holt Sr.'s Chicago Wind Attack can go 2-0 today against Alex Johnson's Puerto Rico Players, who are 0-2, got the home opener here, looking to get their first win of the season here on home turf. The San Juan Pit, if you will. Let's get a look at the lineups for both sides. Chicago Wind Attack and the Puerto Rico Players. Alright, so here we go. Leading things off for the Chicago Wind Attack will be Monkey Ball and an all-defensive front coming from that Puerto Rico side. Solar Reflex leading the way for them and staying up there. Good survival tactic there. Good offensive opportunity by Monkey Ball, and that time I'm going to call no contact on that one.
Not sure it is it.
I didn't see no contact there at all, so they're going to actually go back to the opposite sides and redo that collision, since there was none. And this time there is one, and both cars are down. So Chicago and Puerto Rico tied at 5 apiece. That brings out the two cars from the middleman spot, and this is where defense is in full effect. Great defensive car for Chicago, and of course Black Lena out there for the Puerto Rico Playas. Helped get the Playas to the Crash Bowl back in 2014, just 2 seasons ago, when Alex Johnson had both of his teams there. But this time that's an interference there. But last year, the Puerto Rico Playas met the end of their playoff run fairly early. First round, or was it the second round? No, it was the first round. And they got knocked out by Hartford. Hartford knocked them out. For Timmy remembers it. Oddly enough, he's smiling off here to the side. Reminiscent, apparently. These two go at it. Black Lena and R having a battle here. As this match continues. And Black Lena's down. R gives Chicago the 10-5 lead, and now looks for the 15-5 win. Green Blaze Jr. out there for the Playas. Trying to tie it up. Just to think, 2 years ago, Eastern Conference champions, now one flip away from falling to 0-3. But switching sides here. Two good defensive cars, and this time Green Blaze is down in the Chicago Wind Attack. Go 3-0, and the Playas have fallen to 0-3. A rough start for Puerto Rico, and a rough schedule for them when you really kind of take a look back, stand back, think about it. Sort of a rough schedule. Starting the season on the road in Roswell, on the road in Phoenix after that, and now having to be home against Chicago. Tough start for the Puerto Rico Players. Let's get a look at who they play next. I think we saw Gowanda and New Orleans in the first game. New Orleans home against Dallas in the next game. Gowanda home against Cleveland. As for these two, Chicago's next game should be a great matchup on the road against the Nevada Thunder, who, as a matter of fact, I believe Nevada, they did win 3-0, Nevada Thunder. So matchup between two 3-0 teams, Chicago and Nevada there. As for Puerto Rico, they'll be 0-3 going into the next game day, and the Playas Next game on tap for them, home against division rivals. And, boy, you kind of wish Miami was a little bit better like they were in the old days. Because, Tim, did we not see mid-2000s, the Playas and the Mafia have some wars?
All the time.
So,
All the fucking time.
unfortunately, as of late, Puerto Rico has basically kind of killed that rivalry and won the overall battle as of late. But nonetheless, a 0-3 Playas team taking on actually a 0-3 Miami Mafia team. So someone's got to win there. Anyways, but more highlights coming up, including Tim's teams. Obviously going to be on there. You'll also see Brandon's other team, the San Jose Storm. They got a road game in Detroit today, battle of two 1-1 teams, and plenty of other highlights to go. Philadelphia, San Antonio, I think I said it already. Boston, New Mexico, Roswell taking on New York today. Pair of 2-0 teams going head-to-head there. And LA and Bradford, too. You're going to see the highlights of that. It's all coming up on CDL Live. Well, the wind attack make it look relatively easy on the scoreboard. 15-5, the final score. They go to 3-0 in the Puerto Rico Playas. Surprising 0-3 start for them. Still got our main event coming up, the San Francisco Shinobis on the road to go head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Destroyers. But more highlights first, so let's get to it. All right, starting off the second set of highlights, Phoenix Firebirds, Hartford Homies. This game went back and forth, but the Homies would strike first. Silver and Black Tack Jr. putting them up 5-0. But that answered right away by Green Arrow. Tied at 5. Takes on Indy 5 now. So Indy 5 and Green Arrow went at it. Indy 5 getting the flip. Advantage back to Hartford. 10-5 score. That brought out stock 34 from the Phoenix Firebirds captain spot. And short little fight between these two. Two collisions later, it was all stock 34. Then he takes on the heavyweight 46 Jr. with the game tied at 10. And 46 Jr. getting the lead back for the Homies. That brought out Glitter, and Glitter takes down 46 Jr., sent it to overtime. So Glitter against Redemption in OT. And these two have a short little fight here. And in the end, the aerodynamics wins. Redemption getting the job done, and the Homies had the win in overtime. 20-15, the final score. Instant classic of the game right there. Now we get a look at this game, San Diego Lightning and Dayton Rebels, and we start off with two aerodynamic cars that both take each other down. Dirty Snow and El Rey out of the game. So it brings out Zapper out against the heavyweight 7 Series, and 7 Series just too heavy. 10-5 San Diego, but enter Toe, and he would have a great game day. You see him here. Down goes 7 Series, and we are tied at 10. And just like that, 15-10 Dayton as 24 hours gets taken out. And that would bring out the rookie Hot Goat, and an interference saving Hot Goat on the first go of things. But let it have a second go, and no interference about it. Toe getting the job done. Game-winning flip goes 3-0 today. And it gets a 15-10 win for the Dayton Rebels. What a job by Toe. Next game, New Mexico Monsters, Boston Vandals, the first two cars out, X-Wing versus Blue Dragon 2, and off-screen X-Wing is down. Blue Dragon 2 got the good flip, and now he would take on Futurama. And Futurama, just take a look at his defense, simply incredible, and he's able to get the flip there. So now, tied at 5, Nitro coming out for the Boston Vandals, and gets the good flip on Futurama, but wait a second. Synchro, you saw his picture there. He is a defensive monster in his own right. So fitting that he plays for the New Mexico Monsters. He ties the game up there. Nitro down. Now up against Vendetta, the defensive specialist that Boston provides. And Vendetta goes down. So a 2-0 day for Synchro, but watch out. Mach 5-3, trying to force overtime, but the score 15-10. New Mexico in the lead, and look at the defensive moves of Mach 5-3. Somehow, both of those stays up. So they continue to go at it, both cars down. Had to get back up and go at it yet again. With overtime right on the line, and it wasn't meant to be. 15-10 the final score. Synchro goes 3-0, and New Mexico has the win over Boston. So now we take a look at this game. San Jose Storm, Detroit Devils, the first two cars that came out there, Charizard and Black Dragon. Black Dragon had a great game in this game. As you see there, he took down Charizard, and that set up this matchup. It was Black Dragon, 48 hours, and just take a look at all the epic moves, and somehow 48 hours was able to stay up there. And you see him almost getting the flip on Black Dragon, but Black Dragon answering defensively, and that would follow up with the flip right there. Off screen, 48 hours down, it was 10-0, and that led to that, which was the final flip of the game. Black Dragon going 3-0 and taking down the San Jose Storm. Sometimes, hey, when you're hot, and that was definitely a great performance by Black Dragon. 3-0, 15-0 the final score. The Detroit Devils got the win over the San Jose Storm. Moving on to this game, the Kings and the Demons, and Silver Molina was the first card out there for Philly, and boy did he make an impact early. You see him go up against Sweet 16 here, and quickly it's 5-0 the score. Demons in the lead. Now he goes head-to-head with RPG, and a good battle between these two, but look at this defensive maneuver. Get it in slow-mo right here. Top left corner of the screen, you see Silver Molina somehow able to roll back up right there somehow, some way, and not long later he had the flip on RPG, making it 10-0 Philadelphia. So enter Motorblade Jr. from the Kings captain spot, and he goes head-to-head with Silver Molina. A nice little battle occurred between these two with the score 10-0, the game on the line, and all of a sudden it's 10-5. Enter Green Demon for the Demons. He gets taken down right away. The rookie Hawkeye. And Hawkeye, he's able to get a tie with Motorblade Jr. stopping the momentum. So overtime, Pink Indy up against Black Testarossa 2 in OT. Game tied at 15 for all the marbles. And Pink Indy staying up there somehow, and as was Black Testarossa 2 fighting the good fight, but on the third collision, Black Testarossa 2 getting the upset flip right there. He was definitely the underdog in that singles matchup, but somehow getting the win for San Antonio, 20-15 in OT. Gotta call a little bit of an upset there. Kings win. Well, we have another one that goes in the Instant Classic book with this one. Mustangs and Avengers, Blue 512. Hot out of the gate. This was a quick 3 flips. Okay, Clown was down right away. Then Pizza Rolls comes out, the rookie from the Atlanta side, and he got taken down right away. So 40 now comes out for Atlanta, and just like that, it's 10-5. Denver in the lead. That brought out Teardrop, and his defensive skills unparalleled. Check this out. Somehow able to scave off flips both times here. That was the first one. Let's see the second one here. Somehow finding a way to stay up, but 40 would finally break through. It would take him a little while, but on this collision right here, Teardrop does go down. So, game tied at 10, and a little interference there between 40 and Red Detta. As another good defensive move, and look at that defensive move. We're going to get to see that in slow-mo. That is Red Detta right there. Now look at his defensive skills against 40 here. Staying up that time somehow, some way. Able to do it again right here as he went rolling off screen, but he was staying up, folks. Unbelievable stuff. And then he followed that up with a good flip, and you're going to see that right there. So 15-10 the score, and that would bring out Supra from Atlanta's 5-point gainer spot. And, of course, we are going in overtime as Red Detta goes down. That sets up Supra versus Purple Custo in OT. Both these teams going for the win, and it would be had quickly right there. Purple Custo getting the job done. The Denver Mustangs defeat the Atlanta Avengers 20-15 in overtime. Like I said, folks, instant classic right there. Dallas Lone Stars 2-0, Buffalo Warriors 2-0. Someone must go in this game. Watsup was the first car out there for the Lone Stars, and out there to meet him was Inferno. Now check out this very first collision. It was a tie collision. Both cars went down, but how close was that? In the slow-mo instant replay, Watsup just missing the Buffalo player, so it brings out Tyrell and Gray Indy taken right down. Tyrell now out there against Reptile, and what a move. Let's get that in slow-mo. That's right, Reptile. See what he has. Great defense, but to no avail for Reptile as he was taken down there. Tyrell goes 2-0. The Buffalo Warriors on their way to 3-0 with the 15-5 win over the Dallas Lone Stars. Just an impressive day for Tyrell. Can you spell MVP? Los Angeles Blades, Bradford Brawlers going head to head here. The first two cars out, Our Future, and of course, that is Spinebuster out there leading the way for the Bradford Brawlers. Defense on the mind of both teams, but in the end, Our Future getting the good flip there. And even though he goes down here against Uncle Sam in the end, look at the defensive capabilities. Look at that. That is Far Future of the LA Blades. Get a closer look, and you see, doing stuff like this non-stop, you get to see why this team has won 2 crash bowls in a row now. As Far Future continued his battle, fighting a good fight, but in the end, just not enough to take down Uncle Sam. So tied at 5, that brings out Pink Indy Jr. for the LA Blades. And see him having a good battle there. And what a way to stay up. Again, another slow-mo. We had to have it because Pink Indy Jr. is so capable of playing defense as well as offense, and he got a flip right there, took down Uncle Sam. But now the big challenge in his way, the heavyweight Escalade. And you see Escalade's weight coming into effect right away. Look at some of these shots. Hard hitting, sending Pink Indy Jr. back. And Pink Indy Jr. really on his toes if he had them. I guess if you put toes on cars, but nonetheless, a timeout had to be taken because Escalade knocked the front end of Pink Indy Jr. loose. So, back from the timeout, they continue their battle. Escalade still with the hard hits, but this time Pink Indy Jr. was able to get under him. That wedge working, flipping Escalade. Game over, 15-5 the final score. The Blades getting the win over the Brawlers. What a match. Last highlight of the day, Roswell Aliens, New York Empire. F1 Racer coming out first for the Aliens, and it was Enzo 1 coming out first for the New York Empire. And it was an interference festival. Interference on that one. And then followed it up another interference. That New York pit zone taking some damage there, I guess. And it pays off though. Enzo 1 gets the flip, 5-0 Empire. But now enter in Dragonfly, and right away off screen, Dragonfly still up. Enzo 1 down. It's 5-5. Tie game. Enter challenge for the Empire to face off with Dragonfly. And what an epic battle these two had. As Dragonfly went off screen, he stayed up right there. And then got the flip on challenge right there. So all of a sudden 10-5. And now Dragonfly going for the win. But in his way was the franchise. Black Bullet 2 of the New York Empire. 2 great defensive cars. And check out the battle that these two had with the game on the line somehow. In slow-mo there, please, thank you. Dragonfly able to escape that and stay up and keep the battle going, and this is what happens when you have 2 good defensive cars out there. It goes the distance, but Black Bullet 2 down there in the end, as you see, and it's going to be the win for Dragonfly. A 3-0 day for him, as a matter of fact. 15-5, the final. Aliens get the win over the Empire. Well, folks, all the highlights, you've seen them all. Time for the main event to take place. The San Francisco Shinobis coming off that 15-5 win over the Boston Vandals. Pittsburgh, likewise, coming off a 15-5 win over the St. Louis Twisters. Pittsburgh 2-0, going for the 3-0 mark. San Francisco unbeaten in regulation through the first 2 game days. Of course, they do have a loss on record, but it does come in overtime. 2 strong teams going head-to-head, a lot of defense on both sides. Be looking out for Black Bullet 1 on the San Francisco side. Well, on the Pittsburgh side, Green Blaze could definitely play a factor along with Wet Jr. So let's get it down to the field. Our main event, Shinobis Destroyers.
This is game time and it's train time and the madness fly. Show the strength that just can't be defined.
Alright folks, it's time for our main event here on CDL Live. Saw some big games happening. LA pulling out the big win against Bradford. The first time Escalade's been flipped this whole season against the LA Blaze. Pink Indy Jr. got it done against them. And but some other big games too. Buffalo beating Dallas, getting them their first loss of the season. Philly takes their first loss of the season, but Hartford gets their first win of the season. Different things happening. Some interesting stuff, and but nonetheless, it leads up to this, our main event, the San Francisco Shinobis on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Destroyers. Lila Geyser's squad, Gregory Fox's squad. Should be an entertaining battle between these two. Pittsburgh comes to this game 2-0, as a matter of fact. And is this their home opener or is this their second? No, they've had a home game before, but nonetheless, their second home game of the year. They're 2-0 and looking to improve on that. The Shinobis, took the Blades in the overtime on opening day, but they are coming off a big 15-5 win over Boston. They did that on the road. They look to do the same today. So, Shinobis, Destroyers. Let's get a look at the lineups, folks.
What they did, is this a movie? Attack the leaf villages where my crew be. What is it like to be a shinobi? My ninjas feel you for your feel me. Good soup. You know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah. Screaming that's done. When I pulled off the lot, that's done. Up in my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
All right, here we go. Both these teams lining up, thinking the same thing, perhaps. Just matching up to the cause is Pittsburgh, but offense first and then nothing but defense afterwards, pretty much. At 3 out there to start things off for the San Francisco Shinobis. For the Pittsburgh Destroyers, it's Yellow Custom. Here we go. Game on. Yellow Custom has a flip on F3 there. 5-0 Pittsburgh. That brings out Black Bullet 1. For the Shinobis, and both cars are down. So Yellow Custom doing his part today. The offense coming to life out of him. And he takes down a good defensive car right there, even though he goes down himself. Sets up his teammate, Green Blaze, ever so perfectly to try to get a win. As Spectite Jr. now comes out for the Shinobis. The score 10-5 Pittsburgh. And Spectite Jr. out there against Green Blaze. They're battling it out, and this time Green Blaze able to stay up. No interference, pushing back to their own sides anyway, and this time Green Blaze is down, and folks, we are tied at 10. It'll bring out What Jr. for the Destroyers to face off Spectite Jr. So What Jr. and Spectite Jr. going at it here. Both cars remaining up. And this time, Spectite Jr. taken down by What Jr. 15-10, Pittsburgh in the lead. Mach 5-2 now out for San Francisco. And he takes the home side of the field on him. Will it work to his advantage? That interference will actually end up saving both cars there. Would have to get back up anyway. They'll go back to their own sides. Battle it out yet again. And What Jr. able to stay up that time. That was kind of a grazing one. This time no interference. Though it came close and What Jr. is down and the Shinobis have forced overtime. So we had no OT. Mach 5-2 out there for the San Francisco Shinobis, able to force overtime here, and that brings out Paradox from the Destroyers' 5-point gainer spot. And here we are now in OT. Paradox and Mach 5-2 going at it. Tied at 15. Mach 5-2 is down, and folks, the Pittsburgh Destroyers get the win. Paradox, in the end, able to get the job done. 20-15 the final. What a game here on this February 26th game day. One hell of a game day. Quite a few games going in overtime. And including the main event. 20-15 the final in OT. Pittsburgh Destroyers getting the win over the San Francisco Shinobis. So, next CDL Live, folks, in case you were wondering, what's up next? Well, we'll see a bunch of great games on next CDL Live. Well, the 3 that will be featured for you. Bradford Brawlers on the road take on the now 3-0 Buffalo Warriors. Should be entertaining there. A little divisional action going on in the main event. Atlanta Avengers at the Tampa Bay Gators. And in between those two games and a bunch of highlights and whatnot, it'll be the Idaho Cowboys on the road against the Portland Panthers. Not exactly a divisional, it's not a divisional rivalry, but definitely a Northwest regional rivalry. Should be an interesting game there. That's on the February 29th edition of CDL Live, but you'll also see highlights from other games going on, like Chicago, Nevada. That'll be there. St. Louis, Los Angeles, going to be playing. Pittsburgh and New York should be an entertaining one. Philadelphia and Milwaukee could be good. You never know. Hartford and Dayton should be an interesting one as well. But that's all for the February 29th game day. We celebrate the leap year. So till then, take care of yourself, be yourselves, and peace.
I do it big. Yeah. Screaming that's done. When I pulled off the lot, that's done. Rep in my town when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and